Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, whenever you're watching this. Guys, we are at our regular season finale for our XFL quarterback rankings. Be pushing down this list, and then next week I'll be doing a quarterback rankings for the whole season. Over the year, we saw 21 quarterbacks throw a pass this year, so we'll be doing a breakdown of all of that. The way I did the formula isn't too crazy. I essentially took the averages of all the quarterbacks' rankings and then, divided it by the games they played with some, and then there's obviously like some personnel bias, maybe you can call it, but that's how we pretty much did it. So, without further ado, let's get into it. We'll start with our honorable mention. St. Louis native Caleb Elby of Western Michigan made his pro debut. He went 4 of 7, 28 yards. I think he was 4 of 4 at one point. He had 6 yards on the ground. Him and Cole McDonald kind of platooned a little bit. Uh, you know, Elby's St. Louis native. There's some personal connection there. So it was great to see him play. Looking forward to seeing him continue to progress and whatnot. It's going to be a weird situation for him next year. Is he going to want to come back to Houston? Uh, is he going to want to, I don't think Silvers is going to stick around the NFL. There was too much of a drop off, and I just don't think that's the move right now. Um, you got that, and then Cole McDonald. What did he do enough to gain an NFL opportunity? We don't know. So, it's good for him to put some film together. Obviously, he was playing against in practice one of the better defenses in the league. So we'll see what happens with him. But either way, I'm happy for this guy to get an opportunity. Coming in at number 10, we got DeAndre Francois. Francois has been one of the more polarizing figures. He got his first start last week. He was 11. He went 10 of 17, 93 passing yards, one touchdown, three rushing attempts, 27 rushing yards. I mean, it's always been accuracy. It just seemed like the outdoor game was too much for him. We got a taste of it in the spring league where he wasn't that effective, and then he did some nice things at fan control football, but his completion percentage was around 50%. So ultimately, with all the controversy and nonsense following Francois, started in the back half, ended in the back half, was a back half quarterback. Guardians have their guy in Quinn Dormady. Now let's see if he sticks. Moving forward, coming in at number 9, last week he was ranked number 9, Jack Cohen, 34 48, 310, 12 passing yards, no TDs, no picks, one rushing attempt, three rushing yards. Cohen's put together a nice string of games recently. I think this is second consecutive 300 yard yard performance. I mean, the biggest thing for them this whole year was not being able to finish drives. They did score 20. The offense scored 21 points because obviously one of the touchdowns was due to the defense. But overall, nothing too sexy from Cone. This last string of games has been his best performance, especially with playing DC. But I think he needs another year to develop in the XFL. Come back for 2024, see how he does, and then kind of push on from there. That's my personal opinion. I think that would really benefit him in the long run. And then you'll see what he's got going on. But overall, it was great to see Cone out there. Guy a lot of questions about, and then actually go on an opportunity. Coming in number 8 last week, he was number 7. Derek King, 3 of 4, 33 passing yards, one rushing attempt, one rushing touchdown. I was hoping we would get at least 15 passing attempts from King this week. His rank, a lot of times, his ranking has never really been because of his play. It's been because of his work volume. But overall, they have a great thing going in DC. There's no reason to change it. These guys know what they're doing. They're extremely competent when it comes to this stuff. There's no reason for them to kind of, what's the word I'm looking for, rock the ship. So continue to let King and Teamo run that dual quarterback system. when he's in, you got to account for him. Obviously, he finishes the season with 4 rushing touchdowns, which is the most for quarterbacks in the XFL, and it was fourth in the league. Coming in number 7, Jalen McClendon, Vegas Vipers. Previously, I had him at 4. 6 of 21, 201 passing yards, 4 rushing attempts, 9 rushing yards, a fumble. He also had an interception. The highlight of McClendon's day was ruined by Matthew Sexton with that early celebration on the fumble. We talked about it over and over again. One of the more inexperienced QBs in the game, and I think next year he takes that jump. I'm really looking forward to him next year. Um, it's you know it, I mean it's a pretty dynamic situation right now. Obviously, you know Vegas didn't get the results they wanted. A lot of close games. Maybe if McClendon wins, they win. They win the division. I don't know. We can talk about that. They make it more competitive. The North Division's pretty ridiculous. So, but it would have been a lot more fun overall. This is his first real bad game in his career, and he was playing against a great defense. So we keep pushing down to number 6, Elise Perez, Arlington Renegades, 22 of 36, 205, 0 touchdowns, 1 pick, 3 rushing attempts, 20 rushing yards, 1 fumble. This is just another game for Perez to kind of get his feet under him and whatnot. They didn't have Davion Smith playing. It was just, and you're playing the Roughnecks. Obviously, you're going to be playing them in the playoffs. You don't want to show them the whole shebang. It's a 50-50 toss up for me when they play the Roughnecks next week. And Perez has kind of regressed a little bit. He had a 300-yard game, and then comes back to earth. This is his mo. If you're new to spring football, this is who Luis Perez is. He's that game manager plus. They got to put up more points. That's been their bugaboo the whole year. Perez has looked the best out of all the quarterbacks. I was really hoping we'd see Kevin Anderson, play. We're pretty supportive of him over here, but in the end, it is what it is. Coming in number 5, Quinton Dormady, Orlando Guardians. Previously, he was number 10. He had some amazing games, and then he came back. He came back to knock it out. Over the last 2 weeks, had some pretty poor performances. Playing against the Battlehawks, went 18 of 24, 188 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, 3 rushing attempts, 5 rushing yards. It is a good thing for him to end it on a high note. He had some 2 bad games, kind of push him back into his into the back half of the rankings. I like Dormady. It's been very volatile behind that offensive line, the coaching staff. Guardians have had 4 different guys taking snaps and whatnot. It was good for him to kind of put it together and figure it out and whatnot. At least to put with all the controversies, might be a little bit of a forgettable season for him outside of that 6 touchdown performance because of all the off the field stuff. But Dorman, did pretty well. That Battlehawks defense is nothing to slouch at. They got some players. They're banged up in the secondary, but that front 7 still, managed to put together and be competitive despite not having Mike Rose and Silas Kelly playing. I think the Dorman story is great. I'd like to see him come back next year as well. 2024. I think he's a top guy. Coming in number 4, Cole McDonald, 10 of 11, 120 passing yards, zero touchdowns, 1 pick, 8 rushing attempts, 66 rushing yards. Same thing. It was almost a perfect day. Technically, he did throw a touchdown pass just to the other team. Him and Jeremy Cox really worked well together in the rushing game. I think they had almost 200 yards rushing over, which is ironic for the Houston Roughnecks. It raises stock a little bit for a change of pace quarterback. In the end, it was great to see McDonald be out there making plays and whatnot. A lot of these guys ended the season on a high note, some obviously on the low note, but it was, McDonald did what he needed to do, redeemed himself from his first start, and now the Roughnecks are getting ready to play in the playoffs, and he's had a pretty good season, outside of that one start against the Battlehawks, but it is what it is. Coming in number 3, Jordan Teamu, DC Defenders. Previous ranking, I had him at number 2, 15 of 22, 271 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 pick, 8 rushing attempts, 45 rushing yards, 1 rushing TD. I mean, he accounted for over 300 yards of offense. Like his quarterback play in the beginning was pretty, less than desirable, and then all of a sudden this guy explodes to have the productive season that we all thought and knew he could have. Big bounce back from his USFL season, especially he was behind a terrible line when he was with the Bandits. Really grew as a passer. Fred Keist did a great job putting him into positions to succeed. And it was overall just a great performance to see him throughout the season because obviously in the beginning he was, in the back half, he was under 50% completion percentage, relying too much on the run, you know, wasn't looking at, the whole field and whatnot, getting nervous, sporadic. And now he's, you know, one of the top passers in the league. We had him at number 1 coming in. He might not finish at number 1, but overall he's a top tier quarterback in the XFL, and he's giving himself an opportunity to make it back to the NFL. Probably one last shot. Coming in at number 2, Ben DiNucci, Seattle Sea Dragons. Previously, I had him at 1, 26 to 41, 339 passing yards, 3 TDs, 2 picks, 4 rushing attempts, 41 rushing yards, and 1 rushing touchdown. Guy put up almost 400 yards of offense, 4 touchdowns. Um, his bugaboo was the picks the whole year. I think he had 18 turnovers. Um, but he slowed it down over their win streak and whatnot. Red zone interceptions. DiNucci, he can be arrogant. He can be this. He can be that. Uh, but in the end, the guy showed up when he needed to show up, and you know, led Seattle to an improbable path to the playoffs after an 0-2 start. I'm really really excited about what he can do. I think they match up well with DC. They're a bit more healthier than DC, and then from there we're going to probably have one of the better playoff games, a true championship game. Not only that, DiNucci also set the single season record for passing yards in the XFL. Now it's 2671, and he also had 305 rushing yards with 3 TDs, so almost 3,000 yards of offense just from DiNucci. Coming in at number 1, AJ McCarron. Last week I had him at 3, bit of a regression last week coming off injury. This week he goes 28 of 35, 420 passing yards, 6 touchdowns, 3 rushing attempts, 9 rushing yards. Doesn't get much better. He sets a single season passing record for touchdown passes in the season, passing Tommy Maddox. Record was 18, now it's 24. I mean, they needed him to step up, and he did. I mean, it doesn't, unfortunately, the way the playoffs worked out, it did not work out in the Battlehawks' favor. But none of that could be, derived from AJ's play. Yeah, he had one bad game last year or this year against Seattle, coming off the injury. We can talk about that in circles. In the end, they had an opportunity to win, and they lost. And you can go over this point structure and all that stuff, but in the end, AJ meant a lot to this team. Putting guys like Hakeem Butler, Marcel Aitman, Darius Shepard all in positions to succeed. I think all those guys are gone. I think they're all going to the NFL next year. At least an opportunity. I think Butler stays. He was way too good. Tied for second place or first place this year in touchdowns in the XFL. There's not. It was just a master class. I think I counted 2 drops from his receivers, so it could have been an even better game. Overall, being in front of the fans to throw 6 touchdowns in a game, one short of the pro football record, especially with the running clock the XFL has. It was an amazing performance, and I'm glad I got to see it. Unfortunately, I wasn't at the game, but that's it. That's our regular season finale. Next week, about 6 quarterbacks will play. Because you get your 4 starters, and then Derek King, Cole McDonald. And then we'll see what happens from there. Extremely grateful we got to do these videos throughout the year. A lot of good feedback, a lot of good growth from these videos. Appreciate you guys tuning in all the time. Outside of that, if leave a comment, let me know where I'm jacked up in, and then next week we'll be doing a video talking about all the quarterbacks throughout the year. So it'll be a little bit longer. But thank you guys. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Bye.